Mr. Karim had been a truck driver for over 20 years. A quiet, practical man with no patience for superstition. He used to tell his wife, "What frightens people is their ignorance, not the dark." He left Marrakesh on a Friday evening at the end of September, behind the wheel of his truck loaded with construction materials, heading south toward Ouarzazate. A route he knew by heart. He had driven it hundreds of times, in daylight and in darkness. The weather was clear, the sky cloudless. The truck was in perfect shape. He had serviced it 2 days before, changed the oil, checked the tires. He had a thermos of coffee, a tin of sardines, and some bread. The radio played an old song from the 60s. Everything was ordinary. Everything was in its place, like any other Friday. He left Marrakesh and turned onto National Route 9, the road that cuts through the high Atlas at Tizi and Tichka and descends on the other side toward Ouarzazate. He knew every bend, every mountain, every stone on the edge of the cliff. He passed the midpoint before sundown and stopped near Imi Nowakal to drink his coffee. He looked out at the mountains glowing red and orange in the last light. He thought, God has blessed this land. By the time he reached the stretch between Agnem and Kela Maguna, a desolate, semi-abandoned mountain desert, night had fallen fast, as it always does in the south. He was not afraid of the dark. The dark was his friend. Less traffic, cooler air, easier driving. It was nearly 8:45 when C. Karim saw something on the right side of the road. From a distance, in the headlights, it looked like a large sack abandoned on the shoulder. But as he drew closer and focused, he saw it was a man, an old man, sitting on the ground with his back to the road, dressed in a white jalaba. Mr. Karim stopped. He rolled down his window and called out, "Everything all right? You okay?" The man didn't turn around. "Do you need anything?" Silence. C. Karim climbed down from the truck. And this was the first moment he felt something wrong. Not fear, exactly. A sudden cold. The night air was mild, but the moment he stepped next to the man, he felt a chill wrap around him, as if someone had opened a freezer in the middle of the desert. He walked around to face the man from the front. He appeared to be in his 70s, with a long white beard and a face that was unnaturally calm. His eyes were open, but he wasn't looking at C. Karim. He was looking at something far away, something C. Karim could not see. He asked a third time, "Sir, do you need help? Where are you going?" The old man exhaled slowly and said in a low, steady voice, "Stay with me a little while, my son." Mr. Karim thought, perhaps he's ill, perhaps exhausted. He sat beside him. He gave him some water. The man drank slowly. Then he looked directly at C. Karim, and C. Karim would later tell his family that he never forgot that gaze, and said, "This road tonight, it is not yours alone." Mr. Karim gave a nervous laugh. "I don't understand you, sir." The old man did not respond. He closed his eyes as if falling asleep. C. Karim waited 5 minutes. He called out once, twice. No answer. He reached out to touch him. The jalaba was warm. The man was breathing, asleep or somewhere between sleep and waking. He couldn't leave him there. He lifted the man with some difficulty. He was strangely light for his size, and settled him carefully in the passenger seat. Then he got back on the road. The first thing C. Karim noticed, about 10 kilometers in, was the radio. It cut out without reason. The screen stayed lit, but the sound was gone. He tried to turn it back on. Nothing. He hit it with his hand, as one does. Still nothing. He assumed it was a technical fault. Then he noticed something else. The old man sleeping beside him had started to speak. Not clearly. A low, broken murmur, like someone praying or reciting. Karim strained to listen. A chill ran through him when he understood that the words were neither Moroccan dialect nor classical Arabic. It was something else. Something he had never heard. 5 kilometers later, he saw what made him slam the brakes. Off to the left of the road, about 50 meters into the dark desert, 3 lights stood still. Not the lights of a car. There was no road in that direction. 3 fixed yellow points, arranged in a perfect triangle. They didn't move. They didn't approach. They simply stood there, watching. They were not car lights. They were not animal eyes. They were just there, looking at me. And I had the feeling they knew I was looking back. Mr. Karim drove on. He tried to focus on the road. But 2 kilometers later, he saw the lights again. The same triangle formation, now on his right side, as if they had passed him, as if they knew where he was going. At that moment, the old man opened his eyes. He looked straight ahead and said, with perfect calm, as if he had never slept at all, "Did you see them?" Karim asked, "See who?" The man said, "The ones walking with you." Karim fell silent. Then, in a trembling voice, "Who are they?" The man stared forward without answering. Then, after a few seconds, he said, "Your eldest son. His name is Imen, isn't it?" Karim's eldest son, Imen, lived in France. He had never mentioned him to the old man. There was no photograph, no document with his name anywhere in the truck. He had not spoken his name once the entire journey. Karim hit the brakes and stopped the truck in the middle of the road. His heart was pounding. He turned to the man and said, "How do you know my son's name?" The old man turned to look at him, and Karim saw something in his eyes that he had never seen in any human face before. No fear, no cunning, no emotion at all, only a stillness as deep as the stillness of graves. He said, "Imen will have an accident tonight. If you reach Ouarzazate before dawn, he will be fine. If not, the news will be waiting for you." Karim froze. He reached for his phone to call Imen. No signal. As he had half expected, he restarted the phone. Nothing. He got out of the truck in the silent desert night, holding the phone high, searching for any bar of reception. Nothing. He climbed back inside. The old man was still there, calm as ever. He said, "Don't stop. Drive." Karim started the engine and drove as fast as he could on that mountain road. The triangular lights continued to appear and vanish on either side of him. Left, then right, then left again, like an invisible convoy escorting him through the dark. The radio remained silent. The old man beside him said nothing more. Then, exactly 20 kilometers later, the lights stopped. They disappeared all at once, as if switched off, and the radio turned itself back on. The same song, from the exact second it had cut out, as if nothing had happened. Karim turned to ask the man what it meant. The seat was empty. No door had opened. No sound. The truck was traveling at 75 kilometers per hour on a mountain road in the middle of the night. The seat where the old man had been sitting was completely empty. Not even the white jalaba remained. Karim arrived in Ouarzazate at 1:10 in the morning. The first thing he did when he found a signal was call his wife. She answered after a single ring, and she was crying. Before he could say a word, she said, "Karim, Imen was in an accident. They called from Paris an hour ago. Thank God he's alive, but the car is destroyed." Karim asked in a broken voice, "What time did it happen?" She said, They told me around 9:30 or 10. He didn't have his watch. The same time the old man had been murmuring in the passenger seat. The same time the triangular lights had appeared on the road beside him. Si Karim sat outside his truck in Ouarzazate in the dark and wept. He was not weeping from fear. He was weeping from something deeper, something that has no name. The feeling of a man who has spent his whole life believing that certain things do not exist, and then found them to be real. In the morning, when he unloaded the truck and checked everything, he found one thing on the passenger seat that had not been there before. A small wooden rosary, old, broken at one end. He carried it with him and asked several scholars about it later. One of them told him it was the kind that people used to place on the graves of holy men. Si Karim gave the rosary to Imen when he returned from France, and he told him everything. Imen said, "Baba, the woman who hit me that night told the police that something had pushed her car suddenly away from his just before the impact, as if a hand had moved her away from him." Si Karim died 6 months later, peacefully, in his sleep. No illness, no warning, no reason.